President Trump and Iran's lead negotiator digitally signed a preliminary agreement, also known as Memorandum of Understanding (MOU), to end the war between the United States, Iran and their allies. The agreement asserts a temporary ceasefire pending a final deal within 60 days. The opening of the Strait of Hormuz for commercial vessels to pre-war capacity. The lifting of U.S.-imposed sanctions against Iran. To fully understand the details of this agreement, we first need to acknowledge these key considerations. This is a preliminary agreement or MOU that lays out good faith efforts that each party should demonstrate towards a final deal. The agreement is bound to 60 days, unless expended by mutual consent. The agreement consists of 14-point paragraphs. The successful execution of the entire agreement hinges on paragraph 13, which subjects the parties to begin implementing paragraphs 1, 4, 5, 10 and 11 immediately upon signing. Let's look at that more closely. After signing this memorandum, and subject to the beginning of the implementation of paragraphs 1, 4, 5, 10, and 11 of this MOU, and the continuing implementation of these measures, the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran will start negotiations regarding the final deal exclusively on the other paragraphs. Now let's look at paragraphs 1, 4, 5, 10, and 11 individually. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran and their allies in the current war, by signing this memorandum, declared the immediate and permanent termination of military operations on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and undertake from now on not to initiate any war or any military operation against each other, and to refrain from the threat or use of force against each other, and ensuring the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Lebanon. The final deal will confirm the permanent termination of the war on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and other provisions of this paragraph. Summarizing paragraph 1. First, Lebanon is put at the center of this paragraph. It is mentioned 3 times. The agreement calls for territorial integrity and sovereignty of Lebanon. Second, the agreement declares immediate termination of military operations. Third, it calls for both parties to refrain from the threat or use of force against each other. Now let's look at paragraph 4. Immediately upon the signing, the United States of America will begin the removal of its naval blockade and any disturbances or impediments against the Islamic Republic of Iran, and will fully end the naval blockade within 30 days. During this period, the traffic of vessels will be in proportion to the numbers of pre-war traffic being restored by the Islamic Republic of Iran. The United States of America further undertakes to remove its forces from the proximity of the Islamic Republic of Iran within 30 days after the final deal. Summarizing paragraph 4. First, it requires the U.S. to immediately begin removing its naval blockade. Second, it requires Iran to immediately begin restoring traffic through the Strait of Hormuz to pre-war capacity. Third, it provides timeline for the U.S. to end its naval blockade within 30 days, and remove its forces from Iran's neighborhood within 30 days of the final deal. Note that it does not provide timeline for Iran's restoration of traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. Now let's look at paragraph 5. Upon the signing, the Islamic Republic of Iran will make arrangements using its best efforts for the safe passage of commercial vessels with no charge for 60 days only from the Persian Gulf to the Sea of Oman and vice versa. The traffic of commercial vessels will immediately start, and considering the need for removing the technical and military obstacles and demining by the Islamic Republic of Iran, will be instated within 30 days. The Islamic Republic of Iran will conduct dialogue with the Sultanate of Oman to define the future administration and maritime services in the Strait of Hormuz, in discussion with other Persian Gulf littoral states in line with the applicable international law and the sovereign rights of coastal states of the Strait of Hormuz. Let's summarize paragraph 5. First point. Iran agrees to allow safe passage of commercial vessels at no charge for 60 days. This indicates that the Iranians plan to negotiate toll or fees as part of the final deal. Second point. Iran will engage in demining and removing obstacles to allow safe navigation of commercial vessels. Third point. Iran and Oman will define the future use of the Strait of Hormuz, in discussion with other Gulf states and in line with international law. Now let's look at paragraph 10. The United States of America undertakes that immediately upon the signing of this MoU and until the termination of sanctions, the U.S. Department of Treasury will issue waivers for the export of Iranian crude oil, petroleum products and derivatives, and all associated services, including banking transactions, insurances, transportation, etc. The United States of America undertakes to make fully available for use the frozen or restricted funds and assets of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Upon the implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding, the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran will mutually agree on the procedures related to the release of these funds during the negotiations. Such funds, whether retained in the original account or transferred, shall be made fully usable for payment to any ultimate beneficiary designated by the Central Bank of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The United States of America undertakes to issue all the necessary licenses and authorizations accordingly. Let's summarize paragraphs 11 and 12. First point, the U.S. Treasury is mentioned here as responsible to issuing waivers allowing Iran to export oil and related products. Second point, the U.S. will release frozen Iranian assets and funds, pending negotiated procedures. Thirdly, Central Bank of Iran, equivalent of the U.S. Treasury, is named as authority that designates where the money goes, after release. Let's go back to paragraph 13. Simply put, this paragraph says the beginning of the implementation of paragraphs 1, 4, 5, 10, and 11 is what drives the next set of paragraph negotiations. Let's look at what those are next. The United States of America undertakes to terminate all types of sanctions against the Islamic Republic of Iran, including the United Nations Security Council resolutions, IAEA Board of Governors resolutions, and all unilateral U.S. sanctions, primary and secondary, in an agreed-upon schedule as part of the final deal. The Islamic Republic of Iran and the United States of America acknowledge the critical importance of the sanctions termination issue above mentioned and express their intentions to immediately address these issues in the negotiations in order to achieve mutual agreement on them. The Islamic Republic of Iran reaffirms that it shall not procure or develop nuclear weapons. The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran have agreed to resolve the disposition of stockpile enriched material pursuant to a mechanism that will be mutually agreed upon in accordance with the schedule mentioned in paragraph 7, with the minimum methodology to be downblending on site under the supervision of the IAEA. The two parties also agreed to discuss the issue of enrichment and other mutually agreed matters related to the Islamic Republic of Iran's nuclear needs, based on a satisfactory framework being agreed upon in the final deal. Pending the final deal, the United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran agreed to maintain the status quo. The Islamic Republic of Iran will maintain the current status quo of its nuclear program, and the United States of America will not impose any new sanctions and will not deploy additional forces in the region. Summarizing these paragraphs. Paragraph 7 provides pathway to sanctions relief to Iran. Both parties acknowledge the importance and express their intent to immediately address them. Paragraph 8 provides pathway to the resolution of the nuclear issue. Iran agrees to dispose stockpile of enriched material with the minimum method identified as downblending to non-weapon levels. Paragraph 9 is aimed at maintaining the status quo where the U.S. will not impose new sanctions against Iran nor will deploy additional forces to their neighborhood. And Iran's pledge not to pursue nuclear weapons is maintained. It is to be noted that, These agreements are contingent not only on the implementations of paragraphs 1, 4, 5, 10 and 11 but also negotiated details of the final deal.